Grief is a heavy, silent weight. It does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes, it sits in the empty chair, waits beside the window, or lingers in the places where we once said goodbye. At Davn, mist rises over a quiet cemetery. The stones are cold, the grass is wet, and the names carved into marble seem to hold entire lives in silence. Then, a flicker of red breaks through the gray. A cardinal lands on a stone urn. Small, bright, unmistakable. Its red feathers burn against the pale morning like a flame that refuses to go out. The bird tilts its head, and for one brief moment, it feels intentional. This is why people call them ghosts in the wings, messengers from a world just out of reach. A woman dressed in black sits alone on a bench. She does not speak because her grief has already said everything. The cardinal watches her from a nearby branch. Not afraid, not hurried, just present. And presence, in grief, can feel like a miracle. Folklore says when a cardinal appears, an angel is near. Maybe the bird is only a bird. But belief is often born from the heart, not from proof. A hand reaches out, trembling slightly. The bird hops closer, not close enough to touch, but close enough to answer a silent prayer. Grief needs a form to talk to. It needs a sound, a color, a sign. And the cardinal has all three. Inside a quiet home, an empty chair waits at the breakfast table. The person who once sat there is gone, but absence has its own voice. Then, outside the window, the cardinal appears. The window becomes a doorway between inside and outside. Memory and mourning. What we lost and what we still carry. Soft wings flutter against the glass. Fingers touch the cold pane. No words pass between them. Only breath, scarlet, and the strange feeling that love has found another shape. At a quiet eulogy, a cardinal sings from a distant branch. The speaker pauses. The mourners listen. The bird fills the gap, not with explanation, but with presence. In winter, the symbolism grows stronger. Snow covers the cemetery. A man places a red ornament gently on a grave, a symbol made by humans to call back what cannot return. Then a real cardinal lands beside it. Memory and reality meet in one impossible frame. The man smiles through his tears. This is the biological mechanism of hope. Not certainty, not proof, but a moment strong enough to help the heart keep going. The cardinal takes flight, leaving snow swirling behind it. It has witnessed a private battle, and in many homes, gardens, and frozen mornings, the same story repeats. A woman clutches an old sweater that still carries the shape of someone gone. Outside, a cardinal lands on her window ledge and looks through the glass as if watching the healing begin. She looks up, and in that silence, a connection sparks. A single red feather floats in a birdbath, a trace of visitation. To the eye, it is simple biology, but to the grieving mind, it becomes something more, a soul stopping briefly on its way through the world. Nearby, someone writes in a grief journal. They record the signs, the dates, the places, the moments when the red bird appeared. A sketch of a cardinal fills the margin like a red ink signature on the heart. In a backyard, the bird perches on a child's swing set. The swing moves slightly in the wind. No child is there. Only motion, memory, and the ache of play that once filled the air. A grandmother points the cardinal out to a child. The legend is passed down. The child does not yet understand death, but they understand wonder. They understand red against green. They understand that some things feel special without needing to be explained. A man digs a new garden bed. His hands move through the dirt. He is not trying to escape grief. He is trying to grow something beside it. The cardinal waits nearby, a companion in the work, a small life beside a larger sorrow. When the storm of grief returns, the sky darkens again. Clouds gather. Rain falls. The cardinal tucks itself into a thick evergreen, a shelter in scarlet wings. Raindrops cling to red feathers, washing away the salt of tears. Then the sun breaks through. The bird emerges and shakes off the rain. Persistence through the struggle. It lands on a yellow flower, and color returns to a gray world. Slowly, the grieving person learns the same lesson. The dark does not last forever. The storm does not erase the sky. At dusk, a cardinal sits on a wire, silhouetted against the fading light. The sentry at the edge of the day sings one final evening song, a lullaby for the restless. Inside the house, a lamp is turned off. The dark is no longer frightening. In sleep, a red blur moves through the trees. At first, it is only color. Then it becomes clear: a cardinal. The subconscious gives grief a shape it can recognize. The person wakes with a strange peace, looks toward the window, and there, on the sill, the bird has returned. The vigil continues at dawn. But why this bird? Why do so many people see hope in this small red body? Emotion shapes perception. The human brain searches for meaning, especially during loss. The cardinal is bright, loyal to its territory, and present through the seasons. When many birds leave, the cardinal stays. In a world of departure, that matters. Two cardinals feeding each other become symbols of devotion. A male guarding a hidden nest becomes the guardian of the family line. A woman wrapped in a cardinal-patterned quilt carries memory in every red stitch. A cardinal flying through dark woods becomes a light moving through the night. Sometimes, healing does not come as an answer. Sometimes, it comes as harmony. We search for meaning everywhere in clouds, feathers, songs, timing. A red feather found on a car seat may become a calling card from the infinite. A cardinal bathing in icy water may become resilience made visible. A Christmas ornament shaped like a cardinal may hold the ache of the first holiday without someone we love. The pain of the firsts is heavy: the first birthday, the first Christmas, the first morning coffee, the first quiet evening. Then a cardinal appears on a frosted branch. A cold song for a cold heart. Steam rises from a cup of coffee. The bird lands on the porch table outside. Joining the morning ritual, a person hangs a feeder, not just to feed a bird, but to create an invitation: stay close. Come back. Let me feel connected. The feeder is filled with black seeds. The cardinal waits, then dives toward it, accepting the invitation. Its thick beak cracks a seed with surprising strength. Strength hidden in small things. Nearby, a child's red toy car sits in the grass, a reminder of a life cut short. The cardinal lands on it, and for a moment, it feels like a blessing over childhood memory. The seasons of grief keep changing. Sometimes the bird stands out. Sometimes it blends in, hiding in plain sight. Just like sorrow, a person walks through a park to escape heavy thoughts, and multiple cardinals appear in the trees like a cloud of witnesses. Red wings flutter. The heartbeat of the forest. In a church, sunlight passes through red stained glass. Faith is captured in color. The red glow falls across the floor, and a person steps into it, bathed in memory. Life moves forward, even when love looks backward. A house is sold. Boxes are packed. Photos are wrapped in paper. The weight of memory travels with the living. Then a cardinal appears on the fence of the new house. A new vigil begins. The past has not been left behind. It has changed address. In the new garden, a red tulip blooms. The first sign of healing. The cardinal perches nearby. The presence is no longer only in pain. It is in scent, color, morning, and breath. At dusk, longing returns. A person sits on the porch in the blue hour. The cardinal appears as a dark silhouette, a shadow of a loved one. It chirps softly, a whisper of wings. The person closes their eyes, not demanding proof, only accepting the presence. For many who grieve, the cardinal becomes a private language. A woman speaks to the bird on her porch. She whispers, "I miss you." The bird does not judge. It listens. It tilts its head as if receiving the deepest secrets of the heart. Then it flies close to her shoulder, but does not land. A brush with the infinite. She laughs through a sob. Joy found in the middle of sorrow. This is how healing often begins, not as happiness, but as one unexpected moment of light. Some people carry the symbol on their skin. A tattoo artist inks a red bird onto a shoulder-wearable grief. A permanent signe, an angel you never have to lose. In hospital courtyards, cardinals become signs of transition. A patient reaches toward the glass. Outside, a cardinal lands on the sill. The escort arrives. The building glows in the sunset. A threshold of the beyond. Some losses are too young. A cardinal lands on a child's red tricycle. The wheel turns slowly in the wind. Time moves without them. The bird chirps from the handlebars. A reminder of laughter. A photo album opens. The past returns in fragments. A cardinal lands on the page, joining the remembrance. Its shadow crosses a photograph. Past and present overlap. In an old cemetery, ivy covers a name. A hand clears it away, refusing to let the person fade. The cardinal watches from the stone, the silent supervisor of grief. In a church pew, a man seeks answers. Outside, a cardinal lands near stained glass. Its song echoes through the chapel like a hymn without a choir. A red prayer candle is lit, and the cardinal waits in the courtyard as if standing at the gates. At the ocean, grief feels endless. Waves pull and return. A cardinal stands on driftwood, finding footing in the tide. The bird rises above the white foam, above the salt, above the relentless pull of memory. The sunset turns red. The sky becomes cardinal. On a mountain, a person looks across a misty valley. The climb out of grief is long. A cardinal lands on a jagged rock nearby. The ghost at the summit, then dives fearlessly into the mist. For families of fallen soldiers, the cardinal carries another weight. A widow holds a folded flag. The sacrifice is too heavy for words. A red bird lands on the flagpole, saluting the brave. The flag moves in the wind, and the spirit moves with it. In a quiet room, someone plays a sad song on the piano. Black and white keys, shadow and light. A cardinal lands on the piano lid. The audience of one. The bird chirps a high note with the melody, and the song becomes a duet. When the lid closes, the bird stays. The performance ends. The memory remains. Sometimes the simplest sign is enough: a red ribbon tied to a tree, a feather on white, a soft chirp in the silence. Morning comes eventually. The cardinal sings from a mountain peak. The ghost becomes a guide. A woman walks through the woods in lighter clothes now. Grief has not vanished. It has settled. She finds a red feather and smiles. The loss has been integrated into life, not erased. Carried. Nearby, a cardinal feeds its brown fledglings. The song continues. Legacy is transformation. A person plants a memory tree, rooting the spirit in the earth. The cardinal lands on the small sapling, blessing the new growth. Its wing brushes near a cheek, the touch of a ghost. The person closes their eyes and breathes. Peace. Atlust. At sunset, the world turns cardinal red. A bird sits on a power line, the sentry at his post. Then it tucks its head to sleep. The vigil ends for the night. Above, stars appear, and somewhere in imagination, a cardinal-shaped constellation forms. They are written in the sky now. When you see red, remember the empty chair, the song at the window, the feather, the storm that passed, the hand on the glass, and the voice you thought was gone. But grief is not the only ending. There is joy again. A person laughs in a field of red flowers. A cardinal moves through the blossoms, living inside the beauty. A red balloon rises into the sky, letting go of the pain. The cardinal follows upward, ascending together, higher and higher until the balloon disappears. The bird continues. Pure freedom. A grandfather clock ticks in a quiet room. Time is the healer. The cardinal perches above it, standing outside of time. A feather rests inside a Bible. Sacred memory. A person prays in the garden, the sanctuary of the yard. The cardinal lands gently above them, a crowning of peace. In a child's room, a red cardinal nightlight glows. New life reaches toward old memory. Outside the nursery, the bird sings, a guardian's lullaby. Morning returns. Tea warms cold hands. The cardinal comes to the feeder again. The regular guest. A hand presses against the window. I see you. The bird presses its chest close to the glass. I am here. Between them is only a thin line. The thin line between worlds. Then the bird leaps into flight. Across snowstorms, gardens, cemeteries, porches, hospitals, churches, fields, and forests. The cardinal appears again and again. In the hardest times, when the world turns white with cold and fear, the red bird becomes the brightest hope. Then the storm clears. Blue sky returns. Peace follows pain. A cardinal lands on a hand. The impossible made gentle. The person whispers, "Thank you." The bird looks once, then flies directly into the sun, returning to the source. A single red feather falls in slow motion. The final gift. It lands in an open palm. The memory is yours. And in the silence that follows, the message remains. Love does not end when the body disappears. It changes shape. It becomes color. Song. A red wing against snow. A visitor at the window. And the courage to wake up again. So when grief feels too heavy to carry, look for the red. When the house feels too quiet, listen for the whistle. When the world feels empty, watch the branch. The song never ends.